The conclusion is also an important component of the organization portion. So if you have a conclusion, it shows the reader that you had a pretty clear idea of where you were starting and where you were ending. So it tells the reader that, okay, they started with this reasoning, they had the body paragraphs, and now they're concluding in a case like this, concluding with the appropriate conclusion, I guess. And in general, you don't want to do just a restatement of your thesis. A lot of students are used to this kind of stuff with their language arts classes, where they're essentially reframing the thesis in the conclusion. But you want to show you want to show some kind of forward thinking. So use the conclusion to draw your thinking kind of one step further. You want to make sure you take that extra leap further, make a slightly larger claim that you could have at the beginning of the essay, but you chose not to. And it doesn't need to be too long. 1 to 3 sentences will suffice. I've seen 2-sentence conclusions that are perfectly fine, but it should be bold. It should extend your thought just a little bit and leave the reader with something to think about. And it's essentially your final chance to tell the reader just how nuanced and well-developed your perspective is, or that you've completely thought about how each of the 3 perspectives fits into that line of thinking that you had at the very beginning. So having a good conclusion is important. If you can make sure it's bold, and if you can make sure that it extends that thought just a little bit further, it's a great way to tell the reader that, oh yeah, this person actually thought this through. And actually thought about the implications and the consequences of their reasoning that you showed in the conclusion. So that's good. It really helps in the organization domain as well as in the ideas and analysis domain. So, for example, for our thesis and our essay, here's the conclusion that we have. Only by mandating need-blind admissions can public colleges truly say they enable the public right to education. So, in this case, we're saying that not only do public colleges have an obligation to be need-blind, but only by being need-blind can they say that they are actually fulfilling their obligation to say that they enable the public right to education. So in this case, we are extending that thought just a little bit, or in this case, we're kind of reversing it a little bit, right? So you want to make sure you extend it just a little bit and take it just a little step further by stating that public colleges must use need-blind admissions, and only by using need-blind admissions can they actually fulfill that public right to education that everybody has that we're talking about.